Can you believe it's been 45 years since this came out? Well, it's soon to be this month. I'm reviewing it early since I've got other movies coming up, including some that were released at the exact same date and what have you. So prepare yourselves because we're going to camp with Bill Murray. Here's my review of Meatballs. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1979 Canadian comedy flick Meatballs, originally released by Paramount for Famous Players and Halliburton Films, directed by Ivan Reitman, and this, of course, was notable for Bill Murray's first film appearance in a starring role and for launching the directing career of Reitman, whose later comedies, which were Stripes, which I have yet to review, but I will review that sooner or later, and Ghostbusters, both starred Murray. The film was released on June 29th, 1979, so I am kind of doing its anniversary a little early since I've got other films in the way. Another film. Anyway, the film was the highest grossing Canadian film of all time in the US and Canada when it was released. It is the first of 6 film collaborations between Murray and Harold Ramis, and several sequels of which only the third film had any connection to the original. But I'll talk about those another time, though. Let's get into the story. Tripper Harrison leads a group of new counselors in training, or CITs, at Camp North Star, a cut-rate summer camp located in Ontario, and leads practical jokes on camp director Maury Melnick, mainly by taking Melnick from his cabin late at night so that he awakens in unusual places. Rudy Gerner, a lonely boy whose mother died about a year earlier, is sent to summer camp, by his workaholic father, but decides to run away. Noticing Rudy is lacking self confidence, Tripper tracks him to a nearby bus station and takes him under his wing. They rapidly bond as friends after many morning jogs. Tripper helps Rudy gain confidence while starting a romance with Roxanne, the girl's head counselor. Many of the CITs also find romance. Candace kidnaps Crockett in a speedboat and confesses her feelings for him, while Wheels, who had broken up with AL the year before, successfully rekindles their relationship during a dance, and the nerdy Spaz falls for the tomboy Jackie. Sorry about that. Human bug. A subplot deals with North Star's rivalry with Camp Mohawk, a wealthy summer camp located across the lake. During a basketball game, North Star is being beaten by Mohawk when they attempt their own perverse form of victory. This sets the stage for the yearly Olympiad between the camps, which Mohawk has won 12 consecutive times. During the first day of competition, Mohawk dominates North Star, often winning by cheating. Crockett fails to clear the high jump bar, Hardware gets pummeled in boxing, and Jackie suffers a broken ankle in field hockey thanks to the dirty work of 2 Mohawk girls. The score at the end of day 1 is Mohawk 170, North Star 63. That evening at the North Star launch, Tripper rouses the demoralized campers by explaining that victory or defeat is unimportant. In unison, Camp North Star begins to chant, "It just doesn't matter." Now I'm going to go to where day 2 is and go to the ending. You know, procedure. You have 5 seconds to sub this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below as I count down now. If you've seen the movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. Day 2 of the Olympiad belongs to newly inspired North Star as they win every event. Wheels out-wrestles his opponent, Spaz defeats Rhino in a stacking contest with inspirations from Jackie and a thwarted Mohawk cheating attempt. And after 12 years of North Star defeats, Fink finally beats the Stomach in the Frankfurter Wiener eating contest. North Star now trails only by 10 points with one event left, a 4-mile cross-country run for 20 points. Tripper offers to select a surprised Rudy to compete against Horse, Mohawk Star Runner. Rudy's many mornings spent jogging and training with Tripper pay off as he wins the race, giving North Star its first Olympiad victory by a score of 230 to 220. Later that evening, Morty, Tripper, Roxanne, and the CIT sing around a campfire and say their final goodbyes as the camp prepares to close at the end of the summer. Rudy has already decided to return to camp next year, and Roxanne agrees to live with Tripper. The two ride off on Tripper's motorcycle, leaving the buses out of camp and leaving Morty behind. In bed and on a raft in the middle of the lake. End of story. So, what did I think of Meatballs? Now, I seem to recall seeing this on one of those movie channels long ago, and I haven't seen the film since until I revisited. I do recall the first time was on YouTube, and more recently I saw it on Tubi. I must say, this film is absolutely very funny and what have you. This was what really put Bill Murray on the map as a starring, well, as a leading star, that is. And I must admit, it was really, really something. Anyway, this film did so well, and it became the highest grossing Canadian film in the US, with a combined gross of $43 million in the US and Canada, and was also the highest grossing film in the US without any US investment at the time, until surpassed by Chariots of Fire in 1982. The film went on to gross 70 million worldwide against its 1.6 million or 1.2 million budget. The reviews were pretty good and what have you. Currently, Rotten Tomatoes has it at a score of 73%, saying the film is a summer camp comedy with few surprises, but Bill Murray's riffing adds a spark that sets it apart from numerous subpart entries and a frequently uninspired genre. The New York Times wrote, with far fewer high spirits than Animal House and only two characters of any interest, Meatballs reveals itself to be a loud, off-key cry for conformism of a most disappointing sort. It's a sheep in wolf's clothing. Variety said, record of TV stars making the transition to feature films is spotty overall, but Bill Murray proves a welcome exception to the rule. The Saturday Night Live regular manages to sock over Meatballs with amazing vitality and elan. The Chicago Tribune's own Gene Siskel give it a decent review, and say it is as pleasant as can be, but there's hardly a belly laugh in it. Murray plays a nice guy counselor who befriends a lonely camper. It's all very sweet, but funny? Not particularly. LA Times called the film a fast, funny send-up of summer camp life that is not as all-out raunchy as Animal House, but it's hilarious in a similar, blissfully uncomplicated and nutty way. The Washington Post said the film is as totally unpretentiously funny as its title. As a senior boys counselor, an easygoing role model, and spontaneous comic genius, Bill Murray of Saturday Night Live makes a deceptively sensational debut as a film comedy star. And Newsweek remarked this film has almost none of the scraggy, raunchy, irreverent anarchy that gave Animal House a kind of perverse anti-style. There's nothing at all perverse about Meatballs. In fact, it's so cutesy, squeaky clean that it becomes Andy Hardy with a few extra belches. Nevertheless, last year, the Globe and Mail's Barry Hertz named the film as one of the 23 best Canadian comedy films ever made. So anyway, I had to give this credit for what it had to offer. The score was really good too, done by Elmer Bernstein. who of course has done like numerous films. I'm sorry, I wish I could check, but there's too many. And it also had a soundtrack out, and a soundtrack album was released on RSO Records, who had recently released the soundtracks of two other Paramount films, which were Saturday Night Fever and Grease, which were released a year and which Grease was released a year prior to this, and Saturday Night Fever was 2 years before this. It did have a top. It did yield a few hits with "Making It" by David Nine, which reached number 5 on the Billboard chart, and "Good Friend" by Mary McGregor, which reached number 39 on the Billboard chart. It also includes the North Star Camp Kids chorus, starting off with "Are You Ready for the Summer," which that's a pretty good song. So anyway, I really liked Meatballs for what it had to offer. I mean, if we hadn't gotten this, then we wouldn't have gotten even those slashers, or most notably some good clean camp fun like Ernest Goes to Camp. Now for our cast, Bill Murray is exceptionally good as Tripper. Now for the rest of the cast, we have Harvey Atkin as Morty. He's pretty good. Kate Lynch as Roxanne. Russ Banham as Bobby Crockett. Here's others: Christine DeBelle as AL, Sarah Torgov as Candace, Jack Bloom as Spaz, Keith Knight as Larry Finkelstein, Todd Hoffman as Wheels, Margot Pinvidic as Jackie, Matt Craven as Hardware Renze, Chris Makepeace as Rudy Gurner. Yeah, he was pretty good. And there's so many others and what have you. So I think the cast was pretty decent, but hey, with Bill Murray, that wasn't any problem. There was no problem at all. I think you. So anyway, it had been released on video cassette and DVD by HBO. Well, now Paramount actually released the film's original theatrical release on VHS and the Selectavision thing, whatever that is. And they also continue to hold international VO rights. In 2007, Sony released a special edition DVD, but the sequels did not receive the same treatment. However, Lionsgate released the film on Blu-ray in 2012, and the DVD reissue in 2022. Anyway, which Lionsgate still holds the rights to release this film from Paramount. So anyway, I really will give Meatballs credit for what it had to offer. It did pretty well. It went on to have 3 sequels, none of which involved either Ryman or Murray. Only the third film had any relation to the story or characters of the original, which featured Patrick Dempsey as Rudy Gurner in that one. But anyway, Meatballs is such a funny flick. After seeing it a few times more, I come to like it even more. So, with everything I've said about this film, the atmosphere is really good. It's got a funny performance by Bill Murray, and several of the other cast members are pretty good. It has a great score from Elmer Bernstein and a great soundtrack. And the story's not too bad here. So, with everything said, would I recommend Meatballs? I'd say sure, go ahead. You might like it. But anyway, what did you think of Meatballs? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Help support my channel, make it grow, and make the views grow. And join me next time for my next Saturday morning TV log. If you like this, check out these other films that take place at camp. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of one of my favorites, Ernest Goes to Camp from 1987. The upper right-hand corner is my spoiler-free review of a recent film which came on Netflix, and that's Woody Woodpecker Goes to Camp. Or if you like more Bill Murray, check out my re-review of Ghostbusters that I did earlier this year. in the bottom left hand corner. In the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.